I think we won't wait any longer. We will dive right into today's topic. Paco, you ready?
Always.
Always.
Paperless Movement, your productivity, your way.
All right. Welcome back to another Productivity Like a Pro podcast episode. Today we will talk about AI for busy professionals. I think that's a topic, Paco, that we haven't covered so much in depth, but we are using it on a daily basis. AI in our businesses. And that's something that many of other busy professionals might want to look into, maybe started using it. And we thought that's on time to talk about this topic and see if there might be something helpful for you guys out there as well.
Yes, because I think that it's something that help or will help, at least for us. It's already helping us in the last 2-3 years, because as always, we were on top of the game. And this was something that started coming out of nowhere. But little by little, the bubble burst, and then everybody is speaking. And the pivotal point was the release of ChatGPT. No matter that there were previous tools that we were using, but that was the pivotal point. And our aim is helping our busy professionals to be on top of the game, and this will be no exception. Okay, the point is that we need to consolidate the things to give real added value that is useful for our busy professionals, and not just random thoughts or random workflows or whatever. But sooner or later, of course, there will be, AI like a pro or something like that. But anyway, in the middle, until we release that course, that is not in our roadmap at all, okay? Because I have to say that we had enough at the moment, okay? And we want to improve how we interact with our members, the distribution of content, because we have tons of content that they don't need to be a course to give real added value to our members and followers. And that's what we're going to do, okay? AI will become one of the biggest topics here, because it will help a lot to improve busy professionals' work and lives. And the point is that the moment that you have pretty well consolidated and well-defined concepts and workflows, putting AI into the system is not easy. That's what happens, okay? We have tried many tools that just disrupt our workflows, completely destroys, start giving us mistakes, and creates a lot of friction. That's why we don't sell one option. For instance, all these tools related to creating the calendar of tasks or planner, your planner on autopilot using AI. All the attempts we've done with this type of tools have become a mess, because we are much faster and intelligent than AI. Sorry to say that. And the moment that you start using those type of tools, that they are pointing towards the right direction, but I think that they are not there yet. Okay, I don't know if it would be a matter of 1 year or so, but right now we can state that they are not there yet.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, in fact, Paco and I met 2 years ago through AI, if you will. Correct. It was not AI bringing us together as business partners or something like that, if you think this now. No, it was on Twitter back then. There was no X. It was still Twitter. And I tweeted out the question, tags or folders. What do you use? And Paco was the only one answering neither. And after asking, so what else do you use? He said AI. And that was the start of everything. We had a discussion about this, and we saw immediately how like-minded we are in all this. And the tool that we've been discussing back then as well was mem.io or AI. I don't even know.
.ai.
.ai. And it was the tool we both used back then as the very first AI note-taking tool. And it was a great start. We had huge hopes into this tool, because finally there was something that brought serendipity while writing and contextual search. So it was no longer necessary to search specific words to find something, but you were able to search similar wording and it found the relevant information and all this. So what a great start. And Paco and I started working in Paperless Movement and started to develop the ICOR framework, started to develop the ICOR methodology together, bringing our concepts and workflows together, what you know now as the ICOR methodology as it is. And MEM was part of this. We've been using MEM along with other tools back then already. But then there was the point where this huge explosion of AI tools came. Notion added AI, and many other tools started adding AI very quickly, which was always the same thing. It was always based on OpenAI's GPT in the backend. So they were leveraging the API there. So therefore, no matter in what tool you had the AI, there was no speciality. It was, in fact, just using the text that you put in, and it was a customized prompt that these note-taking apps provided, and you got an outcome there. So if you really wanted to become great at this, you went directly to OpenAI or to ChatGPT. And that's what we did back then. We never used the AI features in these tools anymore. And MEM started to crumble. So more and more bugs came in. It was becoming less reliable back then in the time. And this is where we then moved on at some point, where they killed about more than 50% of features in MEM and focused fully on a chat experience with your notes. And this is something, so they removed the last option to give your own knowledge some structure, customized structure. And this was something that we moved away and went to Tana. So for those who think what happened with MEM, we moved on to Tana back then, and Tana introduced new AI features in a new way that was leveraging the knowledge base better. And now, fast forward, we end up with an announcement from MEM that they will launch now version 2 this year, and they will bring in a complete new experience and things like that. We will see how this works out. And after having an interview with Sam from Reflect, they are leveraging AI already very intensely as well with their tools. So there are many tools that becomes hard to compete with. Reflect also has this serendipity. While you start writing, it recommends you already some other notes that are relevant for this. The search with AI is amazing and things like that. And controversial to this, Heptabase, another tool that we use, a deep thinking tool, is not adding AI yet for great reasons, because they also recognized that it makes no sense to just add AI for the sake of having AI in there and having a chat. That needs to be more to it. And I think it's still not there that everybody, that one tool really figured out how to leverage AI inside the tool properly. ClickUp is also on the forefront when it comes to this with their brain AI. So there's a lot that you can ask your ClickUp database. So it makes to us now all the sense to have the BKM, the business knowledge management, also inside our business project management tool, ClickUp. Therefore, we can ask questions there. And I could go on for hours, but I think that gives an overview of all our journey and shall be the deep integration in our workflows as well. So when we create blog posts when I create blog posts out of the videos that we have, ChatGPT and the transcript to get a starting point to work with. And this streamlines the workflow for sure. And maybe Paco can share some of his use cases as well, or if you have any special questions, add them to the chat as well.
Well, I'm really happy to see that MEM recovers from something that we were thinking that it was the burning out of a project. Okay, but it's amazing that they didn't. It's just the opposite, and we were surprised the last weekend with this note about their new approach and this MEM 2.0. We're looking forward to it because we always considered that it was a tool that was pretty useful for busy professionals because it had no friction at all. You just follow your intuition, you write things down, and then you were able to easily recover. At that moment, I wasn't able not to recover anything that I have previously stored without any problem, but they started removing features. I think that there was completely change of the strategy of the company and the product in this transition. I think that they lost a lot of different users who trusted this tool. And also at the same time, we made the transition to Tana because that was back in 2022. So in 2022 was the release of Tana. And for people like to have a certain level of control over the knowledge, it was super outlining with all the database power behind thanks to the super tags. And right now, it's impressive how they have improved the implementation of AI in their tool. And it's a pretty well solid tool that we use and take advantage of all the features that they offer. Also talking about a beautiful integration of AI into a tool. I love Superhuman, okay? I read, it's a pretty interesting article of Raul Bora, that it's the founder of the Superhuman, or at least one of the founders of Superhuman. And he explains how they approach the AI integration in the tool with a team. I think it's pretty interesting to understand how a business can be organized to deliver as soon as possible, but being useful, a new feature to a product that it's pretty well defined without any failures, because that's one of the biggest issues whenever you try to force the things and launch a new feature in a release that completely destroys pretty well implemented tool. They made an amazing right now. I think that they will soon launch Superhuman AI so that you can ask, because we have always said that your email client is an amazing database knowledge of personal and even team management. It combines everything, and being able to attack that database using AI will be a no-brainer. And we are using the better features that they are launching, and it's impressive, and no friction at all. That's what we really appreciate. And also that it offers an additional value that going to ChatGPT and ask the things, because it takes the information just that you have stored in your email, and it's pretty useful. Talking about myself and using AI workflows, writing is one of the most common for me. And when I refer to writing, it's not just creating blog posts or any type of content that we deliver here at the Paperless Movement, but also trying to create a certain level of structure or comprehension to any type of content that you deliver. For instance, corporate presentations, preparing emails, because there are sometimes in my workflow, I use Tana to create a quickly outline, and based on that, I create the AI, okay? I use the AI in Superhuman, for instance, to quickly reply. I can put the bullets that I want to reply to and create a first draft that I can quickly check out, polish, and send. It increases the speed, it increases the accuracy, it increases the way people can better understand you. So there are many things related to busy professionals and AI that we will dig deeper throughout. I think that until we die, because this is something that it will stay here. The point is that it's happening exactly the same as when, let's say, computer science started, okay? There was a myth there that it was just by pressing one button, you get everything done. And with AI, it's exactly the same. People think that it's just, you use a tool based on the AI and you get all the things. It doesn't matter the concepts, the workflow behind, and at the end, AI is nothing but software. And you need to really understand how to take the best out of that tool to get results that are useful. Because if not, you get into rabbit hole, you start prompting the AI. The results that you receive many times make no sense. Okay, and it's important, as always, follow the 3 layers that we use here at the Paperless Movement, that it's concepts, workflows, and then implementation. The moment that you have created those concepts and workflows, finding the right tool or using it the right way, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, I fully agree. And there are also a lot of dangers with AI that we recognized as well. But let me just quickly add something that you mentioned there. As you said, that you're using AI writing articles, and I'm using it for writing the blog posts about the videos that we publish and so on. The key here is the difference between, hey, GPT, write me a blog post about productivity, right? It will always be able to write you something, and if you publish it, it will be the same as all the other people who want to make money on the short term will publish. And that's something that's already so saturated, and people are not stupid. They recognize what is real and what is just a generated thing by AI. And that's something where people say, now this is AI, and you recognize it was written by AI. In my opinion, this was already before AI was there. When you had copywriters, when people went to Fiverr and they hired somebody writing you blog posts they had no idea about, so they were researching other blog posts and copying and rephrasing things from other things. So you were already able, if this is really original, helpful content or not. And that's not the way we use AI to create content. As Paco already mentioned, you can leverage AI the best way if you're a real expert in your matter. So talking about productivity, maybe we get some inspiration and say, give me other words for, or I don't know, let's make it stupid and say, let's write a blog post about time blocking. All right. So obviously ChatGPT will give you a post about time blocking. You have to block out each 15 minutes on your calendar and say, based on something, Pomodoro maybe will come up and things like that. But these are things that our values and the things that we teach, we completely disagree with. Therefore, we know this is something we won't use, but maybe there's some inspiration that we could use for other things. And the starting point when I, for example, use my transcript or from the podcast, right, transcript, and then say, give me 5 quotes out of the transcript that sound smart and witty, for example, that we could use then to share on social media or something like that. This is a time saver. You have, for our inner circle member meetings, when we're in a 3-hour meetings and you feed the transcript in there and then you say, give me the key takeaways out of this is a real time saver. And then you have to check if the content that is provided makes actual sense. And this happens then in the other way where you really realize things are going wrong. Especially then we have an example there with these AI meeting note takers. We are using them. We are using MeetGeek still, but also Zoom is doing it automatically. Tana is now integrated in the meeting. We are testing them all. And MeetGeek is deeply integrated into our system. So after I have a Zoom call with somebody we collaborate with or with an employee, and Paco is not in there, it gets distributed to our Slack, the summary, to our Slack channel, so he can read what we've been discussing. So he's on top of what was happening, and the other way around. But there we recognized that their AI makes deep, crazy mistakes that changes the whole context of the conversation. That becomes even dangerous where they say, what the hell have you been talking about, right? When you just don't see that. And if you go back to the recording, it was completely out of context, mixing up different discussions because humans, they switch to different discussions and things like that and talk about unrelated things and then jump back to something they said previously. And AI really is not at the level where it recognizes this. Also, something I really dislike is AI trying to make action items for me. Something really annoying in Tana, for example, where it keeps adding me tasks that make no sense at all after meeting minutes as well. Yeah. So there's something in between. It's 100% worth it using AI, but only if you're aware of the limitations and how you can leverage it to enhance your workflows and not to replace your workflows completely. It's 100% not there yet. And it is at all not there to build a business on autopilot and you just come up with, give me 10 business ideas. And 1 month later, you're running a business and get a lot of money just by, that's something that's nonsense in my opinion. There are many ways of pros and cons using AI for sure.
Yes, because I think that right now,
yeah,
sorry. No, go ahead.
So in the chat, we see some comments here about this and very interesting. Mike says, Perplexity is the AI I keep going back to compared to ChatGPT and Gemini. And I do this as well. I love Perplexity as the search engine. It completely replaced Google for me. So when I'm using the Arc browser and I have search, that's the standard search engine because it goes through the actual websites and forums, most importantly. So when I search for something specific that I know, I would usually go to Reddit or somewhere else to try to find the answers. That's why I like Perplexity, that it goes into this and finds a combination of all the things and gives me the references back to the sources it found. So that's to me the best way to search for more complex questions that I have than I would do on a Google search. And it's more actual than doing it on ChatGPT, as there you would need to force it to look into the web and things like that. That's a +1 on Perplexity for me.
Yeah, totally. Because in the moment that you want to retrieve the sources of that knowledge, I think that Perplexity is working really well compared to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT in our case, or at least my case, is whenever I have something and I want a different approach or whatever, I prompt the application and see if I can improve the way I'm communicating something, if I can polish things. If I want to quickly summarize something, for instance, in Readway's Read Leader app, the summaries that they offer from each article is something that it's time saving because I just watch the summaries, and then if the summary resonates to me, it's something that saves me time because I try not to read everything that I store, okay? By quickly summarizing that, it's something that it's amazing. Also, talking about direction, we had the opportunity to test the .ai. That was a tool that we've been following for quite a long time. Finally, they released the thing, and it's a virtual assistant. And although, well, we both, Tono and myself, have removed it from our system, but we gave it a try. It had things that were interesting. For instance, it allows you to recognize the voice pretty well, talking about the tone you use, and you can ramble and draw conclusions on the go as you think about something. It gives you some kind of filtering, okay? Entries or inputs coming from my exemplars. Those are the people, the references in my life that I want to receive inspiration from. And sometimes it works, okay? It's important that it draws conclusions based on your whole database. And I was impressed for some links that they create to give coherence to my reasoning, because I think that AI should be used as a tool for busy professionals to improve the decision-making process, because it takes into account lots of your information that you store, lots of the previous decisions that you have made. And I think that little by little, all those tools, the tool was DOT, okay? And sorry?
The website?
Wow, I cannot remember very
well. Yeah, what I'm searching right now.
Yeah, okay. It's named into the category of virtual assistants that I think that it's something that will help a lot to busy professionals. The point is, it's quite difficult, okay, to create something, because, for instance, I ask to receive a clipping every day of topics that I'm interested about. I never received those clippings, for instance, many things, but it's pointing towards a direction where we can see that sooner or later we will have amazing virtual assistants that will take care of many things. For instance, SPDs, reminders, all those type of things that you can just use your voice and forget about it, okay? Yeah, for me, it was impressive. I made some testing about my voice tone, okay? And it detected if I was worried, if I was happy, if I was in making a great reasoning based on facts. For instance, I made quite different experiments, okay? And I was surprised from some of the outcomes that I received, but it failed so much that it was impossible, okay, to keep it using on a daily basis. And also, the moment, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, that you have pretty well consolidated concepts or workflows, whenever you put a new tool, for us, for instance, our tool stack, it's something that we don't change quite often. And talking about core apps, it's something that we don't change at all, okay? It's something needs to be really life-changing to change a core app in our tool stack. And the point is that imagine with these tools that are completely new, that are based on AI models that are still being developed, it's literally impossible. But maybe using it like a satellite app that can help you in a certain way. For instance, I ramble about, and I want to send it on Monday, please remember to me about this. And it worked not so bad, okay? But those are such a specific use case that we don't have the time, okay, to keep trying and testing tools that don't give a real added value immediately, okay? Because we have a ton of things to test. Plus, we need to keep working, okay? We make the tough work for you. The moment that we start seeing and feeling a lot of friction using a tool, we forget about it. But anyway, I keep saying that little by little, they are covering much more use cases. And it's something that 2 years from now, from that tweet of tags and folders, until now, it's a totally different world. At that moment, there was nothing about AI. Mem was one of the first one to bet on AI to use for knowledge management. And since then, many of the tools have been launched. And right now, because at that moment, for instance, Tana, it didn't exist at all. It was just an experiment. And look at now, and look at all the different applications of AI, no matter the tool that we have nowadays. And this is something that compounds and leverage a lot throughout the time. So I cannot imagine 2 years from now what we are talking about, because it will be simply impressive. We are really looking forward into text to video, for instance. That is something that it will be revolutionary. And also text to create presentations. I think that the world of corporate presentations, all that type of stuff that we have a clear vision of what we want to communicate and being helped by this kind of tool saving us time, I think that's something that we're going to see really quickly. And that's something that, of course, we will share as soon as we test a tool that really nails it. Okay, because that's why we are here, to save time to our members and followers. And that's what we'll dedicate the time. But right now, all the tools related to that topic that offer those type of features are not working so well as expected. So that's why we prefer to stay here, keep making the research and sharing the things that gives real added value immediately to our members.
Yeah, I fully agree. But on the other hand, it's already there in some way, because what you pointed out there is, again, you have to come up with the idea. And that's what I love about using AI, that I don't have to think about how I write it down. I can just spit out what is on my brain. And usually we all have already the final product in our head. It's just hard to describe on paper. And that helps me a lot to come up with the right wordings, or to rephrase it in a way, or give additional context that I didn't think about. And then it's on me again to choose. So it's always a conversation where I have the feeling that I just have a partner there that I can discuss. And I leverage this beyond a business. I think every second time I'm sitting in my car, driving to the grocery store, or something like that, I'm talking to ChatGPT about anything that is going on in my life, in my relationships, with the business, things like that. And I'm always aware that the feedback that I get, I can decide if this makes sense or not. So when it comes then down to journaling, and that's something that Paco and I use now as well, it's an app called Stoic. We've been and we will still be heavy users of day one when it comes to personal journaling. But Stoic is something that we are using now as well, because you are doing your personal reflections every day, and you can leverage AI to get feedback on what your thoughts are going on. And there's a whole other topic that we won't go too deep into this, because we focus on the business world, but for sure we will every now and then talk about these tools as well, because that's another powerful area. To me, AI, the game changer is really that I'm able to reflect on myself and on the work that I do without the need to interrupt somebody else to ask for help, or to be embarrassed when I ask some stupid questions or things like that. So I can always make my mind up before I move on. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages that we got from AI there. Okay.
Yes, and I would like to finish the episode talking about an amazing use case that for me is decision making. Okay. At the moment that we have mental models that we can easily give them information based on our facts, our ideas, our inspiration, and we can interact easily with mental models specifically designed for decision making, that there are tons of them, but they are still not well defined into artificial intelligence. I think that it will improve the way we make decisions, and this is crucial for busy professionals. And that's why we are so aware about this type of tools, because we consider that the moment that an AI is able to process thousands of mental models simultaneously based on their inputs or all our knowledge database, or imagine of a whole company, okay, and you can run mental models specifically designed for certain aspects of any business, like marketing, like finances, like strategic, I don't know, content generation, whatever it is. I think that's a huge step forward. And this is something that in the coming years we will see for sure, because I think that's something, quote, okay, more or less easy to prepare and to develop. And we know that there are companies that are right now, okay, trying to develop that, because I think that the first one that really delivers this type of products that it's 100% focused in the world of corporate, it will be amazing, okay? It will be like ChatGPT, that it has revolutionized many businesses, the way many busy professionals work. But this one, for me, it's even much significant approach, because the moment that we are able to increase the probability of success of any decision we make, well, I think that will be a no-brainer for sure.
Absolutely. Amen. Paco, nice episode again. Thanks for all being in the chat and your engagements. It's great to see all the additional tools that you shared there. And we cannot wait to catch up next week with another topic about productivity. So hope to see you there again. Have a good time.
Okay. See you guys. Thanks for everyone.